Hey friends, it's Steph. So I have started planning for the kitchen. I did not get as far as I wanted to because I've already run into a problem. Who's surprised by that? So I'm going to show you on my phone. I couldn't find my printed picture, and even if I could have, y'all know my printer's acting kind of wonky. So I'm just going to show you. So here is the kitchen the picture that I have. This is of the Lucy's Museum. I left my other pictures upstairs so that I had printed previously of the kitchen, but this is a pretty good representation of the kitchen. So you'll notice when I went to decide where the door on this wall should be, I noticed that the cabinetry is all recessed into the wall. So that had to change my plans a little bit because otherwise I'd have to make the kitchen so big that the scale would be kind of wonky. So what I've decided to do, I am just going to do this top part out of foam core, and I'll show y'all. I do have the walls cut. I just don't have them ready to go together yet because I just realized this. And you notice the fridge is recessed too. It's into a little cubby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my foam core up here at the top, and I'm going to leave this all open. And once I build the cabinetry and everything, I'm just going to inset it into that wall so that it doesn't mess up, because you see the door is right here on that edge. Otherwise, I have to bring the door in and then it doesn't match up with the living room. So I'm going to have to do this on this back. So what we're going to do, we're going to build that wall first. You know, this wall on the side that goes out to the living room is already done. I have started the back part of this cabinetry here because it obviously will stick out. I don't have a picture of what the sink and everything, but for the sink, I'm just going to use a container like from fast food sauce or something for the sink. And I'm going to show y'all a trick of making it look porcelain when we get to that. But what we're going to start with is this back wall here. So what I have done, and you'll see, you remember I've drawn out all of my little things that I've got to get done. I have not found, here's my biggest issue for so far, which for this back wall, I think it'll be okay, but I'm trying to decide on a paper. I've been looking online for scrapbook paper because that's all I was going to use, but I have just not found one that I like. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. I obviously can't print anything because it'll be yellow and weird colors. So I am thinking of going with a green, but I've got to find an appropriate print for that, and I have not found that yet. I've only looked on Amazon so far. I think I'm going to look on one of the craft store websites like Michael's or something and see what I can find there, and see what I can do with that. I have decided I am not going to make the cabinetry working cabinets because, again, our Lucy apartment is just to look at, so I'm not going to make it to where all the cabinets open and everything. We will have our canisters here, and you know they're square shaped, so those will be there. And then I have the little mixer to go over here. I have not decided if I'm going to use the fridge that I have already or if we're going to make one. And I will tell you this, the fridge and the stove intimidate me so much, but I am determined we're going to make the stove. Y'all, I found a beautiful one. Somebody makes them, and I honestly cannot remember the website, but oh my gosh, they're like $500. I wish I could afford one of those, but I can't. So we're going to make ours because remember, our goal for this channel is to make miniatures accessible to everybody, and $500 for one piece of an appliance is just not accessible for everybody. So I want to use what I have. I probably will just make it out of either our pieces of wood, depending on how thin I want to make it, or I'll use mat board. You know, we can do really anything. I have seen some amazing things that people make out of paper and cardstock, and I'm just astonished because it looks so realistic. So I'm hoping to get to that point. So what we have, I have here, let's see what this is. This is the kitchen outside wall. So this is where the door is going to go over here, the stove here, and then of course we have the table and chairs. And I did check this for scale, and I'll show y'all in just a minute. This is our back wall. So this is the one I'm going to cut from up here, and the cabinetry and everything is going to be recessed in here. So, but if you check it, this is the floor. It's going to be this direction. I've already cut it. It matches up to the living room because you know it's going to be right next to it. And I want them, they have to be able to butt up next to each other because the kitchen wall is the opposite of the living room wall. And even though they won't be attached to each other, they will be pushed up against each other. So I did it this way to leave me space to arrange it. If I have to store them separately sometimes, that I can, because I put the living room up on my shelf and it's over half the shelf. I have another miniature up there on the other side of it, so it does take up a little bit more space. So that miniature I'll probably have to move so the kitchen can fit up there. And I did have to move the general store to another bookshelf so that I had space for that one. So this side here, this part of this wall will butt up to the living room. This will be our outside wall here. Of course, it will go up on top of that. And then this is our back wall. And then what will happen is, and I've got to arrange these, I'm just holding them together. I'm going to cut this. I'm not going to do it yet because y'all know I got to measure, and y'all know how I feel about measurements. And if I try to do it on camera, it'll be a hot mess. So this outside wall, I have the door here. This is our back door. The trim came off, so I've got to get that back on. But I do think I'm going to paint this door white before I get it all put together. So this door will go here on the wall. Okay, and it's going to butt right up to those cabinets, just like what they have with it. This will be recessed into the wall. You know, the trim will be up against the back of the wall. Then I have, because we do have a window as well, so I have this window, and it is, we can't see it in this picture, but it is going to be right over the stove. So the window will be about right here, and then the stove is going to go here. So we'll get that situated, and then I'll show y'all what the furniture looks like. Y'all know the table and everything will be situated about right here. So, and that's how they have it in the show. There's not a lot of space in that kitchen, so I'm not worried about a lot of space being in our kitchen. That's how it's going to look, and I think it's going to look great. We will fiddle with the stove, but you see the door, since we're recessing that one part, the door will be right over here. So, and it's fallen apart, sorry guys. So the door will be here, and that gives us plenty of space for the stove, goes right next to the door. I got a little fuzzy on there. And then the window, of course, above the stove. So I think that's going to be great. I'm going to paint everything first. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when we first did the living room, I had to redo the wall that goes from the living room to the kitchen. And at first, I had started, this is the back for the kitchen cabinetry with the sink in it. Well, once I redid that wall, remember it got bent and the scale was way off. So I just redid that wall to make it the way it was supposed to be. So I have to, let me see. I thought I had my other popsicle. Here it is. I will be adding this popsicle stick as well. And so this is going to be the height. The depth of our cabinetry is going to be about 3 inches. And this is the only one that I have to worry about that. I am just going to use, not that soft wood, but I am going to use a better wood for this cabinet. And then like the kitchen cabinets that go on the back wall, part of that will be hidden. So I might just use basswood for the back part that we won't see, just because it's easier to cut and measure with and everything. So I think, but I haven't decided 100% on that yet. So this will be the back of the kitchen sink. And then I'll get the sides done. I'll get the sink put in. I haven't quite figured out. I think what I'm just going to do is glue the container underneath the sink and cut the hole. Haven't decided on that 100% yet. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to make, on the right hand side of the sink, one of those like drain boards, but as I was watching today on one of the episodes, it didn't look like she had one of those. It just looks like it's counter. So I'm going to double check that before I decide what kind of countertop I'm going to do on the top of the sink cabinet. I really would just like one of those because I know they were popular in the 50s, so I may just do one anyway, just to try to stretch my abilities and see how I do. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. We have all of that. I've been trying to straighten up my space, y'all. I got this table almost all cleared off. I still have a little bit of things that I need to put away, but my craft space is just a disaster. So I'm just trying to get it cleaned up so that it has a better workflow, because right now I feel like I'm going from place to place to gather things that I need to use. So I'm working on that still. I did decide, so we talked a lot about the floor. Well, clearly in the show, they just have a cement floor or whatever they used on that. It's not linoleum based. It's not anything like that. So I think all I'm going to do is paint this just a kind of a neutral color that will be complemented by the yellow. And do the floor like that. I'm going to kind of do it, not all just I'm not going to paint it just solid. I'm going to like sponge it on so it has some interesting attributes to it, so it's not just a boring floor. But I think that's what I'm going to do with the floor instead of trying to figure out what kind of treatment to do. I did think about scrapbook paper as well, but I'm just not sure because the one that they had didn't have texture or anything to it. So I don't know. When I come back next week, y'all will know what I decided because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be working on, I'm going to get the floor done, and I'm going to start with that side wall, getting the door installed and the window installed, so that when we come back next week, my goal is that we build the cabinet for either the sink or we build the stove together. We'll see which one I'm most ready for as far as that goes. So I know this video this week was kind of short and didn't have much information in it, but just because I'm really in this planning phase of this, I do believe this kitchen is going to go much quicker than the living room did. There's not as much fiddly parts to it, and clearly no furniture that I have to build because y'all know me and couches and chairs, but I do plan on keeping practicing though and get better at that. But all we got to do is cabinets. This is pretty simple measurements. So I did want to tell you guys, so as I was browsing Etsy one day or YouTube, I cannot remember what I was watching, but I saw this creator and she made a little room box, and y'all, it was all made out of paper that she prints from her printer. So if you ever just have an opportunity that you want to do a kit, but you don't have a kit available to you at home, you don't want to wait for one to come in the mail or from Amazon, whatever, this would be a great option. And so I'm going to link her channel below, and so that you guys can have a look at it. And then she has an Etsy shop where she sells the actual rooms. And oh my gosh, y'all, they're just amazing. And you would never know it was paper. So I'll link that in the description box and let you guys know what her channel is and everything. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks, friends.